I want to give a big thank you to my daughter, Dahlia, for helping us out with this episode. She did a fantastic job. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Lehigh Valley with Love podcast. We are on location at Goldfish Swim School in Bethlehem on 191, and we're going to talk all things swim school, but most importantly today, we're talking about water safety, and I'm here with Ruth, our general manager at Goldfish Swim School, to talk specifically about that. We're excited to be here. I haven't been in this facility and it's amazing.
Yes.
So thank you so much for having us.
Of course, we're super excited. Welcome, guys. It's a beautiful facility, colorful, vibrant. Everybody always feels really comfortable when they come in, which is awesome. So.
For people who are not familiar of Goldfish Swim School, I'm sure they've seen it as they've driven by or even seen some of the locations in other locations, not just in Bethlehem. Can you give us a little bit of the history of the swim school and tell people more about it?
Of course. So our specific location has been established and has been here since 2020. We opened up in the middle of COVID, and fortunately
wonderful time to start a new business.
I know. But fortunately, we have just pushed through. We've remained open ever since, which has been awesome. We serve over 1,400 students, so we're pretty well established in the community at this point. Goldfish kind of dates back to almost 15 years now. So there's actually over 150 swim schools in the country, and we also have 2 locations in Canada as well, which is really awesome. So we're trying to kind of branch out and be a little bit more.
Where's the flagship location? Where did it all begin?
Birmingham, Michigan.
Okay.
Yep, that's kind of where it all started. That school still exists, and it just blew up from there. And I mean, we have locations from East Coast, Midwest, all the way out west as well, which is really awesome. So, and our number one priority is safety. How can we best serve the community, teaching children how to be safer in and around the water, preparing people for summers, or just giving kids and people an opportunity to swim all year round is really important for us as well.
Sure.
Whether it's a safety skill or a fun activity, we're just here to serve all those purposes.
Swimming, this is me. I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, so we're learning to swim because we want to go do crazy things and jump in ponds and go in lakes and all that. But for some people, they might not have access to bodies of water that are safe, or they might not even have access to pools where they can learn to swim. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of being able to learn how to swim and learning early, so that you're kind of they say even with reading, the earlier you learn, the easier it comes to you. Is that the same?
Yeah, it's very similar concept. And not only that, George, but the earlier you get into swim lessons, the probability of drowning is reduced significantly. And that's kind of what we like to focus on, right? It's not just the preparation, the fun aspect, but it's how can we prevent drownings? How can we offer safety skills that are better preparing children or even adults to be in and around the water? And that earlier stage makes a huge difference, believe it or not. I mean, as early as 1 is what a lot of doctors and pediatricians recommend.
I was at the YMCA, don't get mad at me. I was at the YMCA swimming, and there was a child, just really small. He had to be 2. But he was treading water, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, he's working harder than I have ever worked at this. But I already know how safe he is around water, and how great his mom must feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that he's able to tread water at that age.
Yeah, and if an accidental injury or drowning is presented, the children are more likely to rescue themselves and survive. So that's the impact that it makes.
We don't want to think about these things, but it's you're really arming them not just with the ability to swim, but the knowledge to get out of possible situations that they find themselves in. Can you talk about the importance of giving children the ability to kind of know what to do if they find themselves in a situation like that?
Of course. I mean, our program is super unique, and we do really pride ourselves on being the #1 premier swim school in the country. We have a lot of research that supports what we do and all the skills and the resources that we're providing for children. I mean, anything from ages 4 months through the age of 12, we have different levels that are catered towards different skill sets and different comfortability levels that really helps the swimmers kind of have that encouragement, that confidence to be in and around the water, but also not just the fun aspect, but the safety aspect. I mean, the science of swim play is like a really big thing for us. It's incorporating a fun way to learn. That's very important for Goldfish Swim School. But while the children are learning, they don't even realize that they're developing all of these life-saving skills, which is really neat. You know, that's something that's very unique about our location in particular.
And we're going to, well, I'm going to learn some of them in a little bit.
Yes.
But before we get there, I want to give you guys at least the opportunity to talk, specifically about number one, your community involvement.
Yes.
And I know that's something that's important to you guys.
Sure.
So can you talk
Absolutely,
a little bit?
I mean, we are very engaged in the community, I'd like to say. We especially this summer, oh my goodness, like it's our first summer, like really hitting home with a lot of the local events, family-friendly events, child-friendly events, and just kind of making a name for ourselves. Our biggest priority is brand awareness. So whether you choose to be here or not, that doesn't change our lives much, but if we can give families like a tip or a trick or just let people know that we exist and what our purpose is, that can change the lives of others, which is really important. So we go to a ton of local community events. We also do a lot of sponsorships. We do a lot of raffle baskets. We donate a lot of gift cards. Every time we go to events, we give out 1 month of free lessons and stuff like that. Like just having like that community engagement and networking with different partners. I mean, even companies like yours and getting our name out there and just making ourselves a little bit more settled and having like a place in the community so people know.
And for some of those people, some of the technical stuff, like who are we serving here? Like for people who are interested in lessons?
Anybody from the age of 4 months through the age of 12, we do offer swim lessons. We're open 7 days a week. We have a ton of different class options, days, times, mornings, evenings, weekend mornings. We're always here to serve the community in that capacity. And we have a lot of different, again, like I said, we have a lot of different skills that are best fit for different age groups and the skill set that they have. So we're here all year round, which is also really cool.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I can definitely, when my daughter's here getting lessons, I'm going to be able to gossip with the other dads.
No, it's a lot of fun, and it's a really warm and welcoming environment. Our pool is always between the temperature of 89 to 90 degrees, which is very nice.
And
it's
you mentioned
relaxing.
like just so that there isn't that kind of shock,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And we want to make sure that because we do cater our lessons and offer lessons for the younger ages, the babies, that their body temperatures and everything is really comfortable. So that's important for us as well. Our humidity is always between like 45 to 50 degrees. So that's also really reassuring. So when you get out of the pool, you're also not experiencing that shock or that transition as well. So yeah.
And so we started this out saying you're going to be focusing in on water safety, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
I think we
that's
have
the most important. Yeah.
You have an expert who's going to help us out.
I do, yes.
Who are we going to be talking to?
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Holly. She's our Assistant General Manager of Safety and Aquatics. She's been with our team for years now. Her and I kind of started at the same time. She handles a lot of our wet side stuff, curriculum, and just sort of the training and development for all of our instructors.
Is that who you're doing, wet side and dry side?
Yeah, we call this side the dry side. Yeah, I know. I do the boring stuff now.
No, it is funny.
Yeah, Holly does the fun and the training and the development. It's really cool. So we would love to show you some of our safety tips, kind of talk through that. Yeah, show you guys. Let's get in the pool.
I want to,
kind of check that out.
We're having fun, but it is also, I think these are important to show people. And even if it's just like a little bit of nugget that could go a long way.
And the cool thing is that if you're having fun, you're more likely to learn and kind of process and digest the material. So let's do it.
All right,
I'm excited.
Get to it.
Cool. Yay.
What happens at Lehigh Valley Health Institutes? What's next happens. Here, you'll find the latest, most advanced innovations in heart and vascular, neuroscience, surgery, orthopedics, and cancer care. You'll find invaluable alliances like our partnership with Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and one team, your team, singularly focused on getting you better. Here is where exceptional happens. Lehigh Valley Health Network. Your health deserves a partner. A quick thank you to this episode's sponsors, Wind Creek Event Center, Michael Bernadyn with Remax Realty, Molly's Irish Grill and Sports Pub, Banko Beverage Company, WDIY 88.1 FM, and of course, our friends at Lehigh Valley Health Network. Thank you so much for allowing us to continue to bring these stories to you.
Holly, hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We're talking about water safety. I know you're an expert on it. So can we talk a little bit about maybe some of the things that we forget about. Like we know that we should be safe around water. We know it's important to learn how to swim. But what are some of the realities about water safety?
Yeah, so it's really important that you get your kids in swim lessons. The CDC reported that for the first time in decades, drownings are actually on the rise. So, and drowning's preventable. There's stuff you can do to prevent it. And by taking swim lessons, you actually decrease the risk of drowning by 88%, which is incredible.
I mean, do you know of any reason why drownings would be up? Is it just?
I think sometimes it's a lack of education. You know, you're so used to being by the pool when you're at home, or like it's such a part of culture right now that sometimes you forget how dangerous it can be, especially if children are left unattended, and just by not taking those precautions and stuff.
And I don't want to be callous or flippant, but I did read somewhere there are some parents who just kind of don't think about it, or maybe they're at pools and they just think that their kids are going to pick it up, and I don't think that that's a crazy thought, but in reality it's not really going to happen.
Yeah.
You should have someone teaching your kid.
Yes, 100%. And I think too, sometimes, especially when you're at a public pool, you see there's a lifeguard there, you trust that lifeguard, but you don't know their training, you don't know, did they get a good night's sleep? They're human, just like we all are and stuff. So it's so important that you take formal swim lessons just to get those skills conditioned, so that if they were to experience a water emergency, they're right top of hand, they're able.
And that's a good point too. I think, man, we think about that. There are lifeguards there. They're not babysitters.
Yeah.
Really, they're providing safety. And,
and
it's on you, the parent, to make sure that these kids.
Yeah, and really, you just want to make sure that you always have eyes on your kids. And drownings can happen in 30 seconds. It happens so quickly. It's silent, and you being on your phone scrolling if your kid's in the pool, you just never know what can happen. So having someone, we call them safer swimmer guards, having someone who's not on their phones, not doing anything else, but is solely responsible for keeping their eyes on the pool, making sure the kids are okay, is needed for any kind of pool party, picnic you have this summer, just to make sure that you always take those precautions.
And is it important too to designate that person?
Yes.
We could just be like, oh, so-and-so's got it.
Yes.
But is it important to say, hey?
So important, yeah. Have them, identify them. We actually sometimes give out like little lanyards that you can wear. It's like almost like you're taking on the safer swimmer guard position. It is fun, and it gives you take on that responsibility when you do that as well. But also rotating them. We rotate our guards every 30 minutes here. It's really easy to get complacent, and being actively, being engaged in that takes a lot of energy and stuff. So just rotate parents, designated so everybody gets to enjoy the cookout, but somebody always has eyes on the kids.
And don't take things for granted.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And we're gonna learn. Can you just give me a brief overview of what we're gonna learn, and then we're actually going in the water and we're gonna learn some of these.
Yeah, of course. So we're gonna do some safety skills that are super important and that parents could practice at home if they want. So the first one we're gonna go over is how to safely grab onto the wall and climb out of the pool. Mm-hmm. Super important skill when you're climbing out to do it properly and safely, so you don't like bump your head or hit your head while you're climbing out. And then we're also going to go over what to do and simulate if you were to fall in the pool to turn back to the wall and reach up and grab for that edge. So that's actually a skill that I think makes us unique as an organization, because we want to make sure that we're teaching them not to just roll on their back, but to turn back to safety. Okay. So a child's natural instinct is to actually swim to what's in front of them. So if you look at our pool here, it's 75 feet long. Right. And if you were to fall into the pool, you'd naturally try to swim to the opposite edge. So we want to teach them and reinforce that turning motion. Yeah, it's so important. Yep. Okay. And then also we're going to get into floating on their back. Essential safety skill, especially if you were to fall in any kind of open water, falling off a tube, being able to roll onto your back and then float.
And that's a big thing, especially in the Lehigh Valley or anywhere. There's so many people who are going out. I have many friends go tubing. I go tubing.
Yeah, I go tubing too.
I think too there we leave our guard down sometimes.
Yeah,
or we'll think we're invincible.
Have a false net of safety,
And it's like, hey, it might not look cool to wear the life jacket, but it's really cool to get home to your family.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, we always recommend wearing a life jacket, especially in oceans, any kind of bay or lakes and stuff as well.
All right, well, we're gonna get into the water. Let's go.
Okay, so we're starting off by practicing our wall holds. So this is really important that kids build up their grip strength. And also what she's doing now is our crab walk. So that's super important as well, that we're able to move along the wall and get to a place where we can climb out. Because sometimes pools, like above ground pools, they don't have an edge that you can climb out at. So this is an awesome skill to moving around. And we like to have fun, so we call it our little crab walks. We use our pinchers to move along the wall. So the second skill is we're gonna go over how to safely climb out of the pool. So we're gonna first put up our elbow. So we're gonna do our elbow, tummy. We're gonna pull our tummy up, and then we're gonna get our knee out. So this is a really safe way kids can get out of the water and not bump their nose or hit their face at all. Yay, great job, so good. Awesome, so next thing we're gonna do is simulate what to do or practice a skill that helps kids learn what to do if they were to fall in. So, first thing that's gonna do is we're gonna safely bring her into the pool. Nice, and then we're gonna practice that turning motion. So we wanna turn them right back to the wall. Good job, and then we're gonna practice swimming and reaching and grabbing. You're so good, great job. That was awesome. But like I said before, so important that we reinforce that turning motion. I know, she's doing so good. And then the next thing we're gonna practice is our back floats. So this skill is really important for if you fall in open water, that we're able to roll onto our back to catch our breath. So right now, Nat is doing the most supported hole, and she's such a natural. We always want to be in that star positioning with our head back, belly up. And since you're doing so good, you can go to the next way to support your child. So that would be by supporting from their head and forehead. So this is really important that we're not holding their backs or supporting from their backs, because that'll reinforce incorrect technique. We don't want them to drop their stomachs. We want them to push their bellies up. And then as your child gets this positioning, gets comfortable in it, you can continue to use less and less support. Awesome job, so good. Okay, so the next skill we're gonna teach is treading. So we always start teaching treading by going over how kids should do their arms. So we wanna do what's called a sculling motion. So we're moving our hands in and out to help support us and keep us above the pool. So good. Oh, awesome. Next, we're gonna do practice treading by supporting our child. We wanna make sure that we're not just letting them in. So Nat's gonna bring her in the water. Okay, so we always wanna support under their armpits, and then she can do that hand sculling motion. Awesome, so good. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna kick our legs. So we wanna try to kick our legs out in opposite ways. Yep, just like that. Awesome. So good. Perfect. And then more and more your child seems to be able to keep their head above the water, the less support you can give them. So good. Keep going, keep going. Woo. Awesome. So good. That was awesome. She did so good. Woo.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Lehigh Valley with Love podcast, and be sure to check out Goldfish Swim School here on 191 in Bethlehem, or any location. Thank you guys. Yeah! What happens at Lehigh Valley Health Institutes? What's next happens. Here, you'll find the latest, most advanced innovations in heart and vascular, neuroscience, surgery, orthopedics, and cancer care. You'll find invaluable alliances like our partnership with Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and one team, your team, singularly focused on getting you better. Here is where exceptional happens. Lehigh Valley Health Network. Your health deserves a partner.